Welcome back to Money 911, where we believe true wealth is about far more than money. It is about health, purpose, peace of mind, freedom, relationships, and becoming the highest version of ourselves. Today's conversation touches something deeply personal for almost every human being. It's our emotional relationship with money. Because the truth is, many people are not struggling financially because they lack intelligence. They are struggling because of fear of loss, fear of not being enough, fear of uncertainty, fear created through childhood experiences, family patterns, trauma, stress, comparison, and the pressure of trying to keep up with a world that often measures worth by accumulation instead of peace. And yet, no amount of money can heal an unhealthy relationship with money. That is why today's topic is so powerful. Why financial therapy is essential for achieving lasting wealth. Our guest today, Jonathan Steele, brings a rare perspective to the financial world, one that combines wisdom, behavioral insight, emotional awareness, and long-term thinking. After decades in wealth management, including leadership roles at major financial institutions, Jonathan discovered something profound. Financial success is not just about investment performance. It's about understanding human behavior. It is about how to make wise decisions under pressure. It's about healing the emotional patterns that quietly sabotage financial peace. Today, we're going beyond spreadsheets and stock markets. We're talking about identity, relationships, stress, family programming, retirement transitions, purpose, and what it truly means to build a wealthy life from inside out. If you've ever felt anxiety around money, if success still has not brought peace, if you have ever wondered why smart people still make painful financial mistakes, this conversation may deeply resonate with you. Please welcome Jonathan Steele. Well, Jonathan Steele, it's a pleasure to have you here today with us.
Thanks for having me. Very excited about this.
Me too. I really like to get into the behavioral, the energy, because money is just energy, right? It's
It is.
Piece of paper
It is.
that doesn't have value anymore, essentially. Tell me, why do you think people are chasing wealth but feel so emotionally unsafe?
I think there's some people that maybe have a greater ability to overcome what you're talking about and may even feel financially secure with what little they have. And so what I would say is, and I'll lead with that, some of my most successful clients are the ones that have the least amount of money, and really defining success is developing a healthy relationship with that money. Healthy relationship with that money, healthy relationship with those that surround you, especially spouses or children, for instance. But why people are chasing this, it has to come down to society. It has to come down to keeping up with our neighbors, right? It has to come down to the values maybe that were instilled in us as young people, not necessarily values from our family, although that plays a role in it, but also the values that you learn with your surroundings growing up.
Right. And the emotional wounds around money, and it's not even a conscious thing for a lot of people. I really like the definition of success, right? And it sure isn't having multi-millions. Because you could have it. I knew a few billionaires that were really depressed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't,
Yeah.
that is success. So can somebody really become financially wealthy while spiritually and emotionally bankrupt?
So I see it all the time. I see it all the time. And actually, I think my reason for being in this world, hopefully I'm not coming into their lives when they are emotionally bankrupt. But I will tell you that I've been introduced to people that have more money than they'll ever need, that are spiritually empty.
Yeah.
They're spiritually empty personally. They're spiritually empty with those that surround them. And one great advantage that somebody may have like that is they can, with through very hard work, actually use their financial success, their emotional failure, but financial success, to help them develop a really healthy relationship with that money and help them develop a healthy relationship with those that surround them. So yes, somebody can absolutely be completely broken emotionally as a human being, but be completely successful financially.
Exactly. This is a neat wraparound, but the hidden emotional costs of always continually chasing more, right? Quote, more. I mean, you could have everything that you ever have need of, but there's this, this thing of more, right?
Yeah, a utility curve. We many of us learned this in our basic econ 101 classes. That utility curve, like anything in life, there's a certain amount of benefit that you receive from some personal engagement or personal relationship. There's a certain amount of benefit you receive when it comes to money, but at some point in time that tops out, right? And that utility curve tops out. And so you clearly, those of us who can feed ourselves and put roofs over our head, right? That's obviously, and if you talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that's the basic need that you have, and then incrementally from there. But at some point in time, every incremental dollar doesn't necessarily bring you emotional success.
Right, right. And this is a cool way to say, but if someone's bank account could talk, what would it reveal to you about their fears?
Yeah, I would, if a bank account could talk, which, love that question, by the way.
Oh, isn't that great?
And there has to be an app that's coming out that's going to actually
I
solve for
know.
what you're looking for.
Right.
Do not underestimate the financial community for coming up with something like that.
Yeah.
What I would say is the app could ask questions more than make statements, and it may ask the question, "What are you trying to solve for with this extra dollar amount that you're spending?" Or what are you trying to solve for with this change in your portfolio? Or what are you trying to solve for with this gift that you're about to give? Does it come truly from a place of duty, love, and care? Or are you trying to perhaps financially manipulate a relationship? So, what I would say is that this app that you're talking about, which I'm writing down right now, that I'd like to go create this with my AI tool, may ask more questions than give statements.
Yeah, exactly. So, and when we position, we have a money map app, and we position that with the person's dreams and weaving that all inside of it instead of the scarcity, like why people are still in fear and scarcity even after they've been financially successful, right?
Yeah, well, like I said, I think this really does come down to the environment that we all grew up in. And I do see, I've worked with generations that go all the way back to the early 1900s and all the way to generations that are still younger than 10 years old right now. And interestingly, there's this glide path, and this glide path oftentimes revolves around those who have been in a world that has an extraordinary amount of uncertainty, physical uncertainty, generally work from a place of scarcity. So we're talking about World War One, we're talking about World War Two, we're talking about the Great Depression, and then incrementally as people age or generations come afterwards, the prior generation plays a disproportionate role in the relationship with the next generation that they have with money. But there is over time some decay, I think, to that place of scarcity. So where we are right now, in my opinion, is we are strangely, given the environment that we're in right now politically, but we are a world away from this idea of intrinsic scarcity across an entire generation, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that things are any easier for this generation. They just have a different need and a different role, a different opportunity that they need to take with developing a healthy relationship with their money.
Yeah, well said. What role does forgiveness play in financial healing?
It's everything, like any relationship. And I truly believe you can have a relationship with money, not in the same way that you can have a relationship with human beings.
Right.
But I do believe that there's a certain we can extract a certain amount of tools that we use in developing relationships with humans that we could otherwise develop to help us develop a good relationship with our financial circumstances. And I say financial circumstances because, like I said, doesn't necessarily mean you need a lot of money to have a healthy or poor relationship with money. It really depends.
Right, right. So, what kind of like the childhood experiences and you've heard it said a lot, but how it shapes the unhealthy financial behaviors, and yeah, these people have all these different things that they try to walk people back through, but it's usually way too complicated. How do you get people through that, without becoming a psychologist or something, right?
I, I do not have a psychology degree, so I have to lead with that and I have to disclaim it. But I do feel that, and my reason for being in the world it is to have a healthy relationship with my wife and my family and those that surround me.
Right.
My professional reason for being in the world is to help people develop a healthy relationship with money. And how you do that is to the degree that clients or prospective clients or people you love and care for are willing to share why they may feel a certain way about money, the better anybody can help somebody in that particular circumstance, but in particular me because of my profession. And that just comes down to, I've seen a lot of flavors. I've seen a lot of successes and I've seen a lot of failures. And I generally have intuition around where I think people can best help themselves. And a lot of that comes down to how much are they willing to share with me about how they feel about certain decisions when it comes to money.
Right. And what blows my mind a lot is what, intelligent people, and they still make emotional money decisions like during the market chaos or
Mm-hmm.
right. And nobody, I have met very few people that are above that emotion because they've attached the money as their life. And if I don't have it, I'm not going to live. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I've had to train myself, and I still to this day. I mean, it's work in progress. I was at Bear Stearns when Bear Stearns was going out of business. I
Mm.
worked there when J.P. Morgan acquired us. I started my business in 1997 and lived through the long-term capital debacle. I've lived through the Asian contagion. I've lived through the dot-com crisis. I lived through 911.
Right.
I've lived through a lot of things, and still COVID, and still to this day, it's extremely difficult when you're staring at what you think to be a completely different time, and it ends up being, or it has ended up being, intellectually you understand that maybe less is more, less decisions are better when you're in that kind of environment, right?
Right.
But like human beings, when we get punched in the face, we want to punch back, right? That's just generally how we are. It's human nature. It's animal nature. I think it's the same situation when we are getting punched in the face financially. We want to make a move. We want to make a decision.
Right.
We want to do something, right? And sometimes you have to stop. And how we, as a company, One Wealth Advisors, try to accomplish that is have a group decision. And so when we're seeing times of stress, we will all get in a room together and kind of feed off of each other instead of having one human being make like
That's smart.
the decision. Yeah, it really
That's
has
good.
helped. And some of
Yeah.
the greatest contributions of my partners in the company have been during COVID. I'm the CIO of the company, and like I said, I'm a work in progress as well. COVID was a very scary time. A lot of these moments were very scary times, and it really helped me have kind of this decision by committee mentality when we're in times of stress.
Yeah. Committee, community, that it really, it opens a lot of possibilities for sure.
Yeah, you build
Yeah.
these scaffoldings over you build
Yeah.
the scaffolding over time.
Right.
This is the thing. You build when you're in a time of need as a human being. Hopefully, you've developed through your life scaffolding,
Yeah.
emotional scaffolding, human scaffolding around you. And when you can lean on that scaffolding in times of duress, and you trust that that scaffolding is going to be there to support you, then really that's the greatest gift that one can have. Right. And
That's
so
right.
you don't always have to use the scaffolding, but incrementally kind of build it. So at the moment in time when you do need it, whether it's health, whether it's financial instability, whether it's a family issue, whatever it is, that you've built that scaffolding.
Right. Right. And and that's another form of real money, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, in another definition. So, what would you say financial peace actually looks like?
Oh, still searching.
Right.
What would it look
Working on
like?
that one. Well,
What,
that's
what, what,
honest.
what,
That's
what,
serious.
well, actually, what I would say is that financial peace is accepting that, like any relationship, it requires effort. It requires not necessarily constant communication. It doesn't necessarily require um, always thinking about instability. But financial peace means that you have hopefully surrounded yourself with, like I said, the scaffolding necessary that at a point in time where you may feel stress or anxiety, that you feel at peace reaching out or being introspective about a decision that you're making. And so you've done the personal work internally and you've done the personal work externally to help support you in that decision. So that's what I think financial peace looks like.
Oh, that's good. That was one of the questions. I was how does financial peace actually look like, right?
Yeah.
Beyond money.
Yeah.
It's the wealth of the community. I mean, even getting sick and having people around you that care, make you food, and all of that is just right. And
Priceless, by the way.
priceless,
Not
priceless.
measurable financially. So
Exactly.
we're on a financial podcast right now, but that is
Right.
not measurable, right?
No. Yeah, exactly. It's beyond, there's no, love is beyond all that, all of these other
It really
things.
is.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. So have you noticed a connection between gratitude and financial decision making?
1,000,000%. I'm glad you mentioned this
Thank
because
you.
those who the those who, no matter how wealthy, how much money you have or how little money you have, the gratitude that you have towards the human being that helped you get to that point, or the gratitude that you have to yourself for getting yourself to that point,
Yeah.
right? Thanking yourself for the effort, um, that means everything. And so w- financial success, back to financial success, I think there's a certain amount of gratitude that needs to be put forth in that answer as well, because gratitude should play a role in having financial success and peace of mind.
It to me, I have a little saying: gratitude is the attitude that gives you the latitude. And
Love it.
I,
I'm using it.
all right.
I'm using it.
I write music too, so that's part of
Oh,
this part
nice.
of the song. Right.
Nice. What
Custom
kind what kind of
custom.
music? Tell,
Anytime you
tell,
like. I have a couple
okay.
number one songs. I write
Oh, cool.
inspirational. Um, I write inspirational Christian music, jazz,
Uh-huh.
folk, all kinds of different
Love it.
styles. But we customize. Someone wants a song, and you like a certain sound, and we get that studio set up for that
Oh, cool.
person. Yeah, But anyway, that's I hear a lot of things in songs, so people have themes, right? A theme
Hmm.
song. So anyway,
Yeah.
that just made me think of that.
Yeah.
Here's one. So this one I always get, can write a few songs about health is wealth and wealth is health and the
Hmm.
similarities about saving and dieting, right? And people have the
Hmm.
same angst about like I'm shocked, I mean, I've been doing what I do for 35 years and seen over 6,000 clients and
Hmm.
how they have, you know, such a fear of their money. Like, oh, I don't even want to look at what's in my stocks or something because
Hmm.
it just drives them. So, what emotional similarities do you see between investing and relationships?
So, back to your point about indexing on your your weight or what your physical being and saving, for instance,
Right,
unsurprisingly, social media and the news focuses on successes, thin people,
right.
strong people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wealthy people. But what I only find, or it's harder to find, because we don't necessarily have the same, we don't have we as a society don't have the ability to listen to long format or watch long format. We don't celebrate necessarily the process. And so when you talk about wealth and when you talk about health, I would say celebrating the process is extremely important. I'm an avid cyclist. I typically choose one event a year that I train towards, and how I perform in that event is so not as important to me than the gratitude that I put forth in the effort throughout the year to actually get to the race, right? And so it's not any different when it comes to money, Kris, because I think if you celebrate the milestones, and if you work with an advisor, or if you work with an estate attorney, or work with a tax person, or whatever it is, or if you do this on your own, try to choose intermittent milestones and celebrate those successes. Because at the end of the day, it's likely that as long as you've built good milestones along the way and you've celebrated them, that you're going to achieve your end goal.
Right, right. That's cool. So, what would you say one financial habit would be that has nothing to do with money but changes everything?
Sharing. Yeah, I would say sharing a financial habit. You said financial habit, so sharing could be like if it's financially related. Obviously, giving the holy trinity of finance, in my opinion, is spend, save, and share. Right. So if you can
Right.
accomplish all three of those, like that, to me is a wonderful way to live throughout life. You spend a certain, and the percentage can be whatever you want. Right. But if you choose, and your values could define the percentage.
Yeah.
Right. But the sharing aspect to me, whether it's monetary, whether it's financial, or so I do a lot of mentoring, and a mentor often says to me, well, what can I do in return? I said, just pay it forward. Mentor somebody else, because along the way somebody's going to be in your particular circumstance, and that doesn't cost anything other than time. So yes, time is money in certain aspects, but to me, that would be a great example of something that is not necessarily financially related, that has good financial
Right.
hygiene.
Right. Exactly. Very good. I really like that. The sharing is the caring, and it's comes back to you.
Yeah.
And right. And that, if people had the philanthropic thing built into what they were doing, I mean, it is a little selfish because I know when I give, I receive,
Yes.
but energetically, there's some magical doors that open up on the inside because I started looking around to others, instead of just me, or my family and my little eyesight, we're all here, and your mentorship, just it goes through a lot of people beyond the one person you help. So
Yeah,
that's
I remember reading a book a very long time ago called Conversations with God, and this
right.
was when I was very young, and the and like what I didn't really understand about life, and I still am obviously trying this all day, is you really have to be you have to care about yourself first before you can have healthy relationship with others, and you have to be comfortable with yourself and happy with yourself, and then until you reach that point, it's very hard to be happy with your relationship with others. And so I would say the sharing aspect of it, yes, we are all selfish, right? That I don't think that it's rare that you have a selfless act,
Yeah.
right? But there's a balance, right? And when you're giving, and I mentioned this early in the conversation, if you're giving to financially control somebody, or if you're giving because you're the only reason why you're giving is it's making you feel good, I would, that's up to you. I mean, obviously, but like there are other ways to feel financially at peace.
Yeah. Gotcha. So, what would you say to someone that secretly feels not good enough around money?
Secretly, that's the key.
Mm,
Don't be so secret about it. Lean on the scaffolding that you've built, and try to open up in the smallest way to somebody and say, hey, there's something that's been bothering me. And just, it could be just a little nugget of a conversation. Like, I was thinking about, adding fries with this order, like whatever it is. And you could say to that person, this reminded me of something that has a kind of a disproportionate, gives me a disproportionate amount of anxiety, this idea of supersizing a decision. Right. And so I would say just try to lean on that scaffolding because you've built it. Hopefully you've built it all this time. If not, I would encourage you, especially for our younger viewers, try to build the scaffolding that will help you throughout your life.
that's great. So, if the markets disappeared tomorrow, what inner qualities would matter the most?
Loving thyself. Is there anything else? Honestly, like if the markets disappeared tomorrow and you had no money, before you can love others, I believe you need to love thyself. And so, yeah, you better love thyself because that's the most important thing in the world.
All right. Yeah, yeah, you can't love others unless you love yourself. There was always a little trick there. How are you going to love God if you can't stand yourself? And it's this little vortex there. So,
Yeah, the religious aspect of it obviously has a different context. But my sense is, independent of what religion you are, no matter who that the greater being is or greater spirit is, that spirit or being or whatever it is would want you to love thyself. And so at the end of the day, come on, yes, love thyself. And then if you love thyself, then you'll be able to really love anything that surrounds you and those things that don't surround you either.
right, right. I'm sure you've talked to a few wealthy families, and is there anything that really surprises you about when you talk with them about their fulfillment
It's I've had such a
trends?
range.
A trend?
I've had such a range, Chris. I like the trend. The
Yeah.
trend now. I will tell you, yes, there is a trend,
Okay.
and I think in prior generations, the trend was to be a bit secretive about how much money the prior generations has, and support, but also be a little bit opaque around wealth and money and less communicative. And as a result, and in addition to, I should say, those generations up till maybe 10 or 15 years ago had the mindset of, hey, kid, you'll get what we leave you. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Now, what I'm seeing more with wealthy families is this interest in sharing the wealth that they have while they're alive. And that is a major difference, I will say. Of there have been a few in my career, but this is one of the greatest differences. Is that the wealthy families, generally speaking, and this is broad brushstroke, wealthy families are more and more wanting to share their wealth, financial and also emotional wealth, with their children. And I find that to be a beautiful thing.
Oh, that is beautiful. That's good to hear. So, to you, what does truly a wealthy life mean?
Um, Loving thyself and surrounding yourself with those who genuinely care about you and your best interest.
All right.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with money.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Well, if you do you have would you have one thing like, a cherry on the top that maybe we didn't get to today that you'd like to share?
Yeah, the you had asked me earlier before we were talking about the role AI has
Oh, yeah.
in
Right.
well, one major trend, and I said, listen, we are spending a lot of time using the tools at our disposal to try to incrementally make our clients' lives better. Right. That's our reason for being, our professional reason for being in the world, to make
Right.
our clients' lives better, to bring them more peace of mind. And if there's a lot of there are a lot of people who have kind of a dystopian mindset around what the role AI is going to play, and it could or couldn't. I can't predict that. But what I generally believe is that the more educated you are about topics, the better equipped you are to help adjust along the way in the event that we do see some type of nefarious issue related to AI or whatever. And so we're spending a lot of time inside of the different applications to better understand how we can use the tools at our disposal to make our clients' lives that much better.
That's great. You got to have to do it these days, really.
Yeah.
Um, why don't you go ahead and give everybody how that they can get in contact with you if they want to, continue this great conversation?
I appreciate that. You can go to onewealth.net, onewealth.net. That's very sweet of you. Thanks.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you. We're in a lot of the same, ways of
Yeah,
thinking about it, and
I
so
appreciate that.
it's an easy conversation. And I really think we need more of this inside of the whole money system. And
Agreed.
we'll circle back again, and I'll look forward to sharing this tool that we've been developing. Having it's been with a bunch of AI in it too, but because you have to, things are moving so fast.
They are.
If you don't have all of this stuff set up, it's gone, and
It could catch
so
you off guard for
it
sure.
catch you off. But we're being blessed, so we're ahead of the game here as
Good.
far as it.
Well, thank
So
you for all the good work that it seems that you're doing as well, caring about human beings for the what they deserve to be cared for.
exactly,
Because really, you're right. At the end of the day, the financial community needs to be caring for people as human beings, not necessarily account numbers.
exactly. Well said, and thank you so much, John. I'll look forward to talking to you again.
Cheers. Have a great day.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
What a meaningful conversation today. One of the greatest lessons from this episode is that wealth without peace will truly never feel like wealth. Money can amplify who we already are, but healing, awareness, purpose, gratitude, and emotional clarity, those are the things that create lasting fulfillment. Today's conversation reminded us that financial freedom is not simply about accumulating more. It's about becoming more conscious, more intentional, more aligned, more at peace. Because true prosperity is not just measured by what is in your portfolio. It's measured by the quality of your relationships, your health, your faith, your purpose, your generosity, and your ability to live with freedom from fear. If today's episode touched your heart, please share it with someone who really may need this encouragement, healing, and a healthier relationship with money. And remember, you deserve healthy money, happy life. You deserve peace of mind, and your past does not have to define your financial future. This is Kris Miller, and you've been listening to Money 911. We'll see you next time. I've created the Safe Money Blueprint. This is the same strategy that thousands of my clients have used to feel secure about their financial future. And you can get it free at healthymoneyhappylife.com/blueprint. There's so much to learn about healthy money. I hope today's discussion brings you one step closer to securing and protecting your future. So you can get started on the right foot, go to meetwithkrismiller.com and schedule your free financial fitness strategy session. Thank you for listening. And please subscribe to Money 911 so you don't miss our next episode, which includes health, wealth, and peace of mind.
Lives inside of